All right, so I got to, I say all right all the time, it seems like, before I talk. Anyway, I just blew this beast off. I'm gonna check the chains on Talons and Clean Grain Elevator. I think they're a little, I think this one right here is a little loose, so I'm gonna tighten that up. This one right here, you want it just a little bit, but that's, you know, that's pretty good. That's perfect. We just put that on, a new one, and we just put that chain on. The other chain was stretched really far. I kept having problems with it jumping, so we put new sprockets and inserts, new chain, and I did leave the guards off. It has guards to go over this, but it seems like it builds up tons of trash behind it. That's for the, what is that, the Reef Thrasher. They don't have them on 670s, but 680, 690. I think the 770 doesn't have them, but then the 780, 790 have them. I don't actually know what that does. I think it sends the stuff back through and resizes it or something. I don't know. But anyway, put a new chain on that, but I left the guards off, like I said, because stuff just gets built up behind it, and I don't know if that would catch fire with that chain spinning like that and all that fodder and stuff just sitting in there. So we left that off. I think it's better. It does get a little dirty, but it was getting dirty before too, but the stuff was staying in there, wasn't able to fall through and get out. So that's why we chose to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up. You just take this cover off and then get your adjustment bolts here and just turn it a little bit, and that'll get it good. But I just greased it before I cut yesterday, so she should be good and greased. I put fuel in it. So I'm thinking about the side of it is really dirty. So I'm thinking about when I shut all these doors, I'm gonna pull it around to the pressure washer. I'm not gonna get anything underneath wet. Of course, I've blown it off, so it won't matter. But I'm not gonna get anything underneath wet, but I am gonna wash the sides, and the roof is really dirty, and the windows. So I'm gonna take the pressure washer on hot water and clean her up on the sides so she looks pretty out in the field, because we got about 200 acres of corn left, and then we'll probably jump right into beans. So, and as you can see my face, look at all the dust from blowing it off. That's how horrible this stuff is. But we're not going to cut today, so I figured I'd get it blown off today. So I don't know why I do that. Even my buddy does it. I went over there, the boy that has that new case, talked to him this morning. He was out there blowing it off. And we both said, you know, we don't know why we don't do this stuff at nighttime when we get done. I guess you're tired and you've been on it all day and you want to just get home. But why don't we blow it off at nighttime instead of blowing it off in the morning and getting, I'm not really this gray, I don't think, but getting all dirty and then riding in the cab all day with this stuff on you and your allergies, just everything tears you up. So I'm going to try to make it a point today we aren't cutting, or the night I get done, to start blowing this thing off, because you get dirty. Even I got it so the wind takes it away from me. You just get so dirty. It's just, and I have horrible allergies, so dust allergies. I don't have allergies anything else, but dust. This dust just kills me. So I don't know. And while I got the cover off, I'm going to check this bearing, because I seen, you know, I do watch Larson Farms. Like I said, I do watch YouTube, and their bearing on one of their 790s was totally going. So we actually just replaced that not that long ago, but I figured I'd check it anyway. Then you just loosen these 4 up and do your adjustment. Actually, I gotta get a longer socket. Ugh. Most of the time, what you want to do is just let the weight of this thing, once you loosen it up, it'll pretty much let the weight of it pull it down. All right, so you just loosen everything up, take your nut, and take this bolt right here, turn her down, and that will force her down. She doesn't have to go much. I mean, that made a big difference. There you go. That's what you want. No mechanic, so if I did it wrong, I'm sure that you can just look at the comment sections and see if I did or not. But it brought her down, tightened her up pretty good. I can probably go one more turn. There you go. She's perfect. So there you go. It's pretty simple. And you pretty much do the same thing for the tail and auger too. My brother, he's in the shop. I'll show you here in a second. Let me get all this tidied back up. He's in there. I think he's working on the exhaust on a Peterbilt. Or doing something. I'll be in there in a second. Just in case you want to know what those decob ears look like out in the middle of the field, everybody always says the end rows are good. That's out in the middle of the field. That's pretty big. So that's why it's yielding 250. Because it's not, I mean, look, they're all in there. That's not just the end rows. I grow good corn everywhere, right? I'm ripping now. We didn't get done this field. This is that field that went 254 with the decob corn, the first field that I cut a while ago. My dad was ripping yesterday with her, and he had a pin come out of her back by the 3-point. The little cotter pin must have come off, and the pin worked itself out. So we took one out of my brother's tractor, used it, and it started to get like a misty rain, so he just stopped. And so I went and got that pin today and fixed it on my brother's tractor. But I got the combine washed, I blew it off, you know, did some things, and it was just so dirty. I said, you know what, I'm gonna wash it. So I washed it, got it all pretty now. It was just so dirty. You know, we're nowhere near done, but I just can't stand it that dirty. So it's a little sticky in some of these spots right here, but I'm gonna go ahead and there ain't much left to do with this field. This is the bottom. The ground is really hard. It's clay ground, and I'm gonna go ahead and get it done. I really would rather do this stuff right before we plant corn, but he wanted to get it done right now, so we'll go ahead and do this, work it up a couple times, and then put wheat in it. Hopefully it does good for the wheat roots and the bean crop and everything. So that's what's going on. I'm just ripping. It's a little bit harder ground right here. Puts a little pull on her a little bit. Like I say, it's nothing but clay, but she's got brand new tips and everything on her, so you can take warm ones off that they're pulling real good, and then all of a sudden put new ones on there, and you can tell. But we're running her all the way down. I'd really like to get a 7-shank for old Big Bender and get her doing this job, but because the 5-shank's so little for her. But I called up, I like to case the 7-shank to fold up the inline ripper, and the case guy sent me a quote like 2 years ago. It was $24.5 when I asked them about one, brand new one. This year they are $49.5 for a little 7-shank ripper. All it is 2 frames and some teeth. I told him he's crazy. I'm not paying $50,000 for an inline ripper. I mean, there might be guys out there that are rich who can afford that, but even if you can afford it, the price of the stuff has gotten to be ridiculous. And sometimes you just gotta say no. It's way too much. I'm not doing it. Even though I want one, I'd like to keep this 5-shank for her and get the 7-shank and have them both going and get it done, because it does. Ripping is time consuming. So And I like the inline ripper because it just puts the little crease in the field. Like if you want to go no, we've done this on an angle before and then planted no-till straight, and without really disking it up, and it works good. The problem is you got to do it on an angle, because if you don't, when you go to spray or dribble your corn, if you go in line with your planter ripping, that sprayer will fall in them trenches and you will tear a lot of corn up, and you will get that sprayer stuck if you have any type of moisture out in that field. So you always want to rip on an angle. Doesn't have to be a drastic angle, but it's got to be good enough that it you know, you kind of want to, if your field's, let's see, if your field's straight, we always rip like this, and then we plant straight. That way your sprayer is going over the things instead of with them, because you will fall in them, trust me. Now if you disc them up after you do it and all that, it really does away with that, but if you just don't, she will fall. And look what that thing did. See that pass? I had to help him get the tractor fixed, and see that pass through the field right there? Turbo Max, I just cut across the field and tore them corn stalks up. I see, you know, we used to mow our corn stalks with a little 15-foot mower, and you always had to clean it off by blade. I tell you, that Turbo Max, you angle them blades at like a 5. I think she goes up to a 6. I always keep it like 4.5, 5. Running on an angle from your corn stalks. Oh my God, that thing destroys stalks. I would never mow stalks ever again. That Turbo Max on an angle, man, it just demolishes these stalks. So, anyway, that's what's going on for today. It's Friday, 29th, I think so. Yeah, 29th. And the only thing I hate, I have to tell you this about a Deere tractor. Now, the brand new one might be different, but this damn auto steer button, they like hide it in there in this console, and you gotta, like, you know, I'm going just riding and I'm trying to search for it. You know, it's ridiculous. Why wouldn't they? How tucked in there it is. Look, you gotta like find it every time. I'm like, why don't they put it, you know, your hands are sitting up here. Why wouldn't they have put it, I don't know, maybe here, or maybe like a button here, or, you know, you're using this knob for your thing. Why wouldn't they did something, I don't know, like we couldn't create a joystick or something for this, or put it somewhere. It's like you got to try to get it down in there. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it at all. I despise that. All your hands sit up here, and you're trying to get your fingers to these things right here. Why not? Why didn't they put it somewhere up top here? It's my rant. It's on all of our tractors. It irritates the hell out of me why they did that. I mean, they just, all this technology and stuff, and then they shove it down in the console. I don't know. All right, good morning. Look at the job that thing's doing. You just see the difference. It's just a great big mower. Love it. We've had a fog all night, so that's going to slow us down a little bit from harvesting this morning. It's Saturday. It's supposed to be sunny the rest of the week, so figured I'd come out here and tear this field up, get it worked up a little bit with the Turbo Till, or Turbo Max, I should say. Doing an excellent job. I mean, you can see the difference back there from what I've done and haven't done. So, yes, the beard's coming back. The hair is going to be long. Miss Eastern Shore Farmer doesn't like it, but I don't care. It's coming back. It's winter time. Winter is coming. Isn't that what they say on Game of Thrones? So I'm getting the beard back. Yo. So tell her men had beards in the winter time. So you can pretty much see the job that it does tearing these stalks up. It's still a little early. Let me get the light better. Still early in the morning, foggy, but look at that. You can just tell. I mean, this thing just, I got the gangs turned to 5, and she's just demolishing them. Doing a good job, running 8.6. But look at that. I mean, you can look at that I mean, that's just one pass. Just tears them up. Love it. This is what this thing's meant to do. I got probably a load and a half of corn left right here, so work that up later, but the field's pretty big, so I figured I'd get most of it knocked out anyway. So good morning. It is Sunday. I am here working at my farm, getting some wheat ground ready. This field was kind of unlevel, so we're working it up. Of course, that's what we do. We get the corn ground ready, spin our wheat on, and turbo it in lightly. I would like to. We did have a drill, but we traded it in for the planter, the other planter. I wasn't really a fan of the 1990 drill. As far as working, it did a good job, but as far as maintenance on them, they are really hard to maintain. Rebuilding them, greasing them. There's 3 grease fittings on each rung, so that's 48 grease fittings, and half of them you couldn't get to half of them. They were a major pain in the butt. The tank, if one of the lines closed up, it was a major pain to get them unplugged. I would like to have another drill eventually, one of those, the new, what are the NC 530s or something, because they really designed them a lot better. You can pretty much stand up underneath the tank and work on something if something happens. I think they put sealed grease fittings on them. Sealed like bearings and seals and everything. I mean, it just made it so much nicer. Had to turn around this big bender. You got to use all hands, but it's the new drills are a lot easier. I would never buy one new. They want $250,000 for a new drill. It's retarded. But people have them for 3 or 4 years. We get some other stuff paid for. It'd be nice to go back and get one. I definitely wouldn't get one unless it was I'd get the dealer to rebuild it right there before I got it. You do have some expense in that, but I want it field ready and go back to no-tilling or wheat. Of course, I hate wheat anyway, but Pop likes wheat. I mean, it's nice to get 2 crops off of a field, but wheat is very expensive to put in, and the places, they don't want to pay you what it's worth. But just getting it ready, getting it level. Might cut corn, finish a farm later today, I'm not sure. I'd really like to get caught up on disking. But like I said, it'd be nice to eventually get a no-till drill, so we don't have to really tear our ground up. We can go no-till. But in the meantime, this is what we're doing, so getting her done. If I had to disc stuff like this is a 630, 34-foot disc. It covers a lot of ground. It's heavy, but I really would like the one. I'd like to have like a 2630s or 2620s with the baskets, hydraulic baskets on the back, and then you can put the wings in down pressure mode like you can a turbo till. I'd really like. You can find them pretty cheap now, 33 foot. trade this for that because I wouldn't have to. The ground gets nice, but it doesn't get, hold on. The ground gets nice, but it doesn't get it. I have to overlap. I got it, it's 34 foot, but I got it set at 29.5. I like to overlap a little bit because the wings will ride up on each side and create like a little wavy ridge. So when I overlap, it prevents that, but then you're not using the full width of the disc. Discs aren't really important anymore, but for us, we use it. So we looked at getting baskets for this thing like 2 years ago, and they wanted like $10,000 or $12,000 for baskets. I'd rather trade this in on a newer used disc, and the difference being 10 or 12,000, it's already got the hydraulic baskets and everything on it. It's just crazy to think that baskets cost that much. Because it would do a way better job with the baskets. Not that it does a bad job now, but with them baskets, a couple of our other farmers around here have them. And man, it really levels ground big time. Big time. But it doesn't do bad. This is more in the back of the farm where it's good black dirt. Good topsoil. Front farm's more clay. So, but that's what we're doing Sunday, and I'm in the old big fender. So the steering valve on this tractor is bad. She'll run the GPS, but every now and then she'll cut it out. You got to turn the tractor off and reset it. We've had it. Deere, our old mechanic, came out here several times, looked at it, never fixed it. Of course, we paid 2 or 3 times to have it fixed, never had it fixed. But when the code comes up, the new mechanic, Steve, told me, he said, when it does it, look at the code here on the side. So it's SSU 182. So when you pull up, it's always thrown that code. I don't know why the other mechanic didn't never put a new steering valve on it, but he didn't. So when it throws that code, I looked up the code on my phone, and it tells you what it is. It's the steering valve is bad. And I'm like, why in the hell ain't it ever been fixed before the right way? That's just another frustration I have with crap. You pay like the combine and the other tractors, you pay 2 or 3 times and it still will never get fixed. It just irritates me. So, anyway, he told me, my new mechanic told me when it goes off, take a picture of the code, let him know. So, hopefully we'll get her fixed. So, everything's just so frustrating. Charge you all this money and still don't ever do what you're supposed to do. So, anyway, it's the Sunday rant. So, I will be doing this all day, probably, because it's football Sunday, and my brother watches football, so get this stuff right here done anyway, get caught up. So, all right, see you. So I am back to turbo tilling. The disc had a bearing go out on the center rung, so I got that all pulled apart, but there's 3 bearings on that same shaft. 2 of them are bad. I don't have but 1 new bearing, so I'm gonna wait. So now I'm turbo tilling some other ground, trying to get it ready for wheat, but I am not gonna put it back together until I have all the bearings right. And being there's 3 on that, I'm going to replace that 1 too, because I'm not pulling it apart. Seems like a lot of people like greasable bearings. I despise greasable bearings. I want sealed bearings that you don't have to fool with. It seems like we have way better luck with them than we do greasable non-greasable bearings. And they don't make them like they used to, because her original bearings that came from Deere back however many years ago on that disc were good. And then once they went bad, we started getting bearings from Deere, and we can't get them to last, no matter if you grease them or not. And they don't offer a non-greasable bearing like they do for the TurboMax for that disc. It is horrible. They don't make the bearings and the stuff like they used to, apparently, because you can put new ones on and they keep going out. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, they're not cheap. It's $26 for the bearing, and the little metal housings are like $26. So it gets, you know, it gets expensive. Like what Lonely Farmer was talking about, the parts are just getting ridiculous. It's just stupid anymore what they're doing to farmers. It's just, I hate it. Everybody wants their cut. The farmer can never get ahead and make money, because if you have a good crop, they lower, the government tells everybody they're going to have a good crop, so then they lower the price, so then you don't make nothing. You have a good crop and you still get paid shit. You know, but like John Deere or Land Tractor, they want their part. You know, they raise their rates. Oh, they're going to have a good crop this year, so let's raise our rates. Let's raise the parts prices. Let's do all this crap, you know, Deere does. It doesn't matter if it's Deere, Case, or anybody. They all do it. So you never make any more money. You just always get, the farmer is the one that always gets screwed. It'd be nice if all farmers would stop reporting everything they did, so that we didn't get screwed anymore, so they don't know what kind of crop you're gonna have. But they offer that government assistance when it's bad, so that's why they do it. Just, you know, they're gonna, and they're not helping you. It's your taxpayer money anyway. It ain't the government's money. There's nothing government funded in this world. It's all taxpayer funded. I mean, that's what people got to realize. And like the same with the Constitution. The Constitution was wrote to keep government in check, not people in check like Biden says. It's just, it gets on my nerves. I hope he gets out of office. I mean, the best years we had was when Trump was in office. I don't care what anybody says.